The trap of pleasing is one of the most dangerous prisons you can live in because it feels good at first. It feels safe. It feels like acceptance when you are the one always smiling, always agreeable, always bending yourself to fit into someone else's mold. People applaud you. They call you sweet. They call you dependable. They call you the one they can always count on. But what they don't see is that behind that smile is a woman who is exhausted from carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations. What they don't know is that while they are counting on you, you can't count on yourself because you've handed over your strength to the approval of other people. You've been conditioned to believe that if you just keep being nice enough, someone will reward you with love, with recognition, with belonging. But how long will you keep paying the price for a seat at a table that doesn't even honor who you really are? Niceness becomes a mask, a disguise you wear because you are afraid of rejection. You think, if I keep everybody happy, then maybe nobody will leave me. If I never say no, then maybe they'll see my worth. But the truth is, every time you bend, every time you silence yourself, every time you agree to something you don't even believe in, you are losing pieces of yourself. And by the time you look in the mirror, you don't even recognize who you've become. The trap of pleasing is seductive because it feels like love, but it's not love, it's fear. Fear of being abandoned, fear of being overlooked, fear of being called difficult. And fear will make you do strange things. Fear will make you smile when you want to scream. Fear will make you settle when you should soar. Fear will make you serve tables you were never meant to sit at because you're too worried about being left out. But let me tell you something, the moment you start chasing approval, you will always be running because approval is a moving target. One day they love you, the next day they don't. One moment they clap, the next moment they criticize. And if you let your life be tied to the hands of people, you will never know the freedom of being tied to the hand of God. You've got to stop confusing nice with necessary. Nice is when you hide the truth so others won't be uncomfortable. Necessary is when you stand in truth, even if it makes people shift in their seats. Nice will make you the doormat everybody wipes their feet on, but necessary will make you the door that leads to new opportunities. Nice will keep you locked into cycles of frustration, but necessary will unlock the destiny that was planted inside of you from the very beginning. Some of you are so addicted to being liked that you've lost the taste of your own voice. You don't even know how to disagree anymore because you're so used to nodding along. You don't even know what you want because you've been too busy making sure everybody else is satisfied. But let me tell you, your silence doesn't save relationships. It only suffocates you. And eventually, the real you will either erupt in anger or disappear in bitterness. That's the cost of being too nice. You've been told that the way to keep people is to please them. But the people who truly love you don't need you to be nice to them. They need you to be real with them. They don't need your mask. They need your truth. They don't need your constant yes. They need your honest no. Because real love can handle your voice. Real love can handle your boundaries. Real love can handle your authenticity. And if someone walks away because you stopped pleasing them, then they were never truly for you in the first place. This is why you've got to wake up and realize that you cannot build a life on approval. Approval shifts like the wind, but purpose is steady like a rock. Approval will keep you busy, but purpose will make you fruitful. Approval will make you tired, but purpose will make you fulfilled. When you stop living to please, you start living to be free. And there is nothing more powerful than a woman who is free, free to speak, free to decide, free to walk away, free to stand in the fullness of her calling. You cannot afford to keep letting this rob you of your voice, your vision, your value. The world does not need another woman who knows how to please. The world needs a woman who knows how to stand. And when you finally stop chasing the trap of pleasing, you will see that the ones who truly matter will not be lost. And the ones who fall away should have never had that much power over you in the first place. Stop trying to please them and start daring to be you. The weight of silence is heavier than any burden you will ever carry, because it is the kind of weight that presses on your soul. When you are the nice girl, silence becomes your second language. You bite your tongue when you should speak. You hold your peace when your heart is in pieces. You go along with what others say just to keep the room calm, but inside you are screaming for someone to notice that you have a voice too. And the tragedy is, the longer you stay silent, the more invisible you become. Silence is dangerous when it comes from fear. It is not the silence of wisdom. It is the silence of suppression. It is the silence of a woman who has swallowed her truth so many times that she has lost the taste of it. You think being quiet will keep the peace, but what kind of peace is it if it costs you yourself? That is not peace. That is bondage dressed up as harmony. That is not peace. That is control disguised as order. And many of you are carrying this weight because somewhere along the way you were taught that being good meant being quiet. But let me tell you something, your silence has a cost. Every unspoken word builds pressure inside you like steam in a pot. You hold it until one day you either explode or implode. Some of you are walking around with smiles on your faces, but ulcers in your stomachs because you have been swallowing your voice for too long. So some of you have tension in your shoulders, knots in your back, heaviness in your chest because silence has turned into stress and stress has turned into sickness. You thought you were protecting relationships, but all along you were destroying yourself. And here is the thing, silence does not just kill your body, it kills your identity. You start to forget what you like, what you want, what you need, because your whole life has been about pleasing someone else. You're so used to deferring, so used to adapting, so used to accommodating that you don't even know what makes you come alive anymore. Silence erases you little by little until the only version of you left is the one everybody else expects you to be. And when you live that way, you are no longer living. You are existing as a shadow of yourself. I know why you stay silent. I know you're afraid of conflict. I know you don't want to rock the boat. I know you don't want to be labeled as difficult, dramatic, too much. I know you think that silence will save you from rejection. But let me tell you, the rejection you fear from others is nothing compared to the rejection you inflict on yourself when you deny your own truth. You cannot betray your own soul and think you will escape the consequences. Sooner or later, your silence will suffocate you. And here is the hard truth. When you silence yourself, you teach others that your voice doesn't matter. You train them to overlook you. You show them that they can take and take without ever hearing a no, and then you wonder why people don't respect your boundaries. It's because silence taught them you didn't have any. You wonder why people don't listen when you finally speak up. It's because silence convinced them you had nothing to say. But when you decide to break that silence, when you decide to open your mouth and speak your truth, you send a message that cannot be ignored. I am here, and I will no longer disappear. There is power in your voice. There is freedom in your words. There is healing in your truth. The same way silence has weight, your voice has wings. The moment you release it, you rise. The moment you speak it, you breathe. The moment you declare it, you step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. And yes, speaking up may cost you some people. It may shift some relationships. It may cause some doors to close, but better a door closes because of your truth than for you to keep walking through doors built on lies. Your silence has been heavy long enough. It has robbed you of joy, of confidence, of clarity. But you don't have to live under that weight anymore. You don't have to be bound to the lie that being quiet makes you good. You don't have to carry the fear that your voice is too much. Your voice is not too much. It is exactly enough. And the moment you release it, you will discover that the world does not fall apart when you speak. Instead, your world finally comes together. Stop carrying the weight of silence and start carrying the freedom of your voice. There is power in no. For too long, many of you have been taught that no is rude, that no is selfish, that no makes you less loving, less giving, less valuable. So you've gone through life saying yes when your heart was screaming no, opening doors that should have stayed shut, entertaining people who should have been shown the exit, agreeing to things that drained you instead of filled you. And little by little, every yes you didn't mean chipped away at your peace, your joy, your energy, your time, until now you find yourself empty, wondering why you feel so tired all the time, why you're carrying so much weight, why you never seem to have enough left for yourself. It's because you've given too many yeses to things that never deserve them. No is not rejection, it is redirection. No is not the absence of love, it is the presence of wisdom. No is not a wall to keep people out. It is a gate to protect what's inside. Every time you say no to something that does not align with your purpose, you are saying yes to the destiny that is waiting for you. Every time you say no to people who only take, you are saying yes to relationships that will pour back into you. Every time you say no to what drains your soul, you are saying yes to what nourishes it. But here's the problem. You've been afraid of no. Afraid that if you say it, they'll be mad. Afraid that if you say it, they'll leave. Afraid that if you say it, you won't be enough anymore. But let me tell you something. If your yes is the only thing keeping someone in your life, then their presence was never real in the first place. If your yes is the only thing holding the relationship together, then it's not love, it's control. And if they walk away because you finally honored yourself enough to say no, let them walk. Don't chain yourself to people who are only loyal to your compliance. Don't hold on to those who only love you as long as you betray yourself for them. Some of you need to understand that no is holy, no is sacred, no is divine, because no is how you protect your calling, no is how you guard your peace, no is how you shield your energy from being wasted on things that don't deserve it. You cannot say yes to everything and still have enough left for the assignment that is on your life. You cannot say yes to every demand and still have strength for your purpose. You cannot say yes to every voice and still have clarity to hear the voice of God guiding you. And let me make it plain, when you learn to say no, at first it will feel uncomfortable. You'll feel guilty. You'll feel selfish. You'll feel like you're letting somebody down. But what you're really doing is letting yourself up. You are standing up for yourself, for your worth, for your purpose. You are telling your soul, I hear you, I see you. I will no longer betray you just to keep the peace with others. That's not selfishness, that's self-respect. Think about how many opportunities you missed because you said yes to distractions. Think about how many nights you've lost sleep because you said yes to obligations you didn't even want. Think about how many times you've poured into people who never even thought to pour back into you simply because you couldn't bring yourself to say no. Don't you see that every unnecessary yes is stealing from the life you could be living? Don't you see that your future requires you to protect your yes with the power of no? And here's the beauty of it. No does not close every door. It actually opens the right ones. When you say no to what's wrong, you create space for what's right. When you say no to what is toxic, you make room for what is healthy. When you say no to what is beneath you, you free yourself to step into what was always meant for you. No is not the end of opportunity. It is the filter that makes sure only the right opportunities reach you. So stop fearing no. Stop running from it. Stop treating it like it's a curse. It is not a curse. It is a gift. It is a key that unlocks peace. It is a shield that guards your heart. It is a sword that cuts away distractions. No is how you honor your time. No is how you honor your worth. No is how you honor the assignment that only you can fulfill. Say yes to your growth, yes to your healing, yes to your peace, yes to your future. But to do that, you must first have the courage to say no. Authenticity is the place where your power lives, but many of you have been living your life trying to be acceptable instead of authentic. You've been twisting yourself into shapes that don't fit, dressing yourself in identities that don't belong to you, silencing your true nature just to win the applause of people who will never be satisfied no matter what you do. You have been trying to become what they wanted instead of embracing who you are. And the more you try to be acceptable, the further you drift from the woman you were created to be. Being acceptable will make you shrink. It will make you sit in rooms where your gift is needed, but your voice is absent because you're too busy trying not to offend. Being acceptable will make you hold back your brilliance so others don't feel small around you. Being acceptable will make you dim your light so that the insecure can stay comfortable in their shadows. And after a while, you begin to wonder why you feel empty. It's because you can't be fulfilled while living as a watered down version of yourself. Some of you have been carrying labels that don't even belong to you. People said you were too loud, so you hushed yourself. They said you were too much, so you shrank yourself. They said you were too ambitious, so you buried your dreams. But hear me, you will never reach your destiny trying to live inside somebody else's definition of what's enough. You were not created to be palatable for everybody's taste. You were created to be powerful, and power is never comfortable for the insecure. Authenticity means you walk into a room without pretending. It means you speak even when your voice shakes. It means you take up space without apologizing for it. It means you stop asking for permission to be who you are. Because the truth is, if you keep waiting for the world to validate you, you will never be free. Validation is a leash. It keeps you tied to the opinions of people who don't even know the blueprint God placed in your spirit. When you are authentic, you no longer live on their approval, you live on your assignment. But I know authenticity is scary because authenticity risks rejection. Authenticity risks being misunderstood. Authenticity risks losing people you thought couldn't live without. That's why so many of us settle for acceptable, because acceptable is safe. Acceptable keeps people clapping. Acceptable keeps relationships intact, even if they're shallow. Acceptable keeps you in the circle, even if that circle is beneath your calling. But what is the point of being accepted by people if in the process you reject yourself? You cannot keep choosing their comfort over your calling. You cannot keep sacrificing your truth so you can belong in places you've outgrown. You cannot keep betraying your identity just to avoid being alone. Better to walk alone in authenticity than to be surrounded in pretense. Because when you stand in your truth, the right people will find you. When you stop pretending, the right opportunities will open for you. When you stop performing, you will finally taste the freedom of being loved for who you really are. Some of you think authenticity will cost you too much, but have you counted the cost of not being authentic? It costs you peace. It costs you joy. It costs you confidence. It costs you purpose. And it costs you time wasted living lives that don't belong to you. You only get one life, and you cannot afford to waste it being a duplicate of somebody else. Stop being acceptable and start being undeniable. Stop hiding and start shining. Stop pretending and start living. The truth is, authenticity will offend some. It will disrupt others. It will intimidate many, but you weren't created to blend in. You were created to stand out. You weren't designed to mimic. You were designed to lead. You weren't called to fit in. You were called to transform. And you cannot do that while being acceptable. You can only do that while being authentic. When you stop striving to be what they want and start becoming who you are, you will see that your authenticity is the magnet that attracts everything meant for you. The blessings, the relationships, the opportunities, they are waiting for the real you, not the performance, not the mask, not the role you've been playing. You've been rehearsing long enough. It's time to live. Stop living to be acceptable and start living to be authentic.